Yo, peace. This is Shalom Zoe bringing you a brand new flavor episode called We Been Here. We do not own the copyrights to none of the music, images, or videos that's being shown today. This is just for knowledge purposes. Please pass it along.
According to PBS.org, only 12.5 million Africans were kidnapped from Africa, but only 10.7 million actually survived. And of that 10.7 million, 388,000 came to North America, and the rest were distributed to South America and the Caribbean. But the first people that were here were the American Aborigines.
The information would always be here. I won't want to say always be here. It's here for the time being right now. We got to get this information while it's available, because it's not going to be available once they start letting people like me get it, because then it's over with. You know, Webster Dictionary, the Webster Dictionary, 1828 Dictionary of American, found here by the Europeans in America. No, better yet, the copper color races, which first means that it was more than one race here found in America, and they all, if not all, was different variants of brown, of copper color. If you want to know what copper color look like, seriously, just take a penny, put it on your hand, and watch how the different browns on your hand reflects off the penny. And that's how you know if you copper color or not. So in the 1800s, the title American was applied to the original people of the Americas. But now it's applied to the Europeans that came over here on ships and enslaved and killed the whole race of people that was in the Americas. Not the whole, but majority. I want to say.
The thing is that what exactly does a Latina look like? So like if I'm a dark Latina, what does a Latina look like?
Like you.
So what does an African American woman look like? Like me.
No, but there's no such thing as an African American woman. They made that up.
Okay, so we're all Africans.
They are American. They were born here. They're American, but they're dumb, and so they're calling themselves African Americans because they don't think for themselves. Jesse Jackson told them to call themselves that.
Oh, okay.
Why would you want to attach that to your name?
So that's clear as day stolen identity, if I'm not mistaken. They stole your identity. Show me another people in this world that doesn't have an identity. Bro, our identity been changed about 5-10 times. You was called Indian. You was called Negro. You was called mulatto. You was called colored. You was called black. You was called African American. It won't stop, man. Anything to take you away from being who you are. And just think about one thing, man. This one thing ain't nobody thinking about. Anywhere else, people that calls themselves two countries, it should be, but we call ourselves two continents. But anywhere else where people call themselves two countries, they have dual citizenship. Meaning, if I'm a German American, I can easily get a passport and go back to Germany and come back to the Americas easily. No problem. Because I have dual citizenship. I have a nationality. I have a flag. I have land. African Americans doesn't have dual citizenship because we're not a nationality. We're not a people. We're stocks. We're a bond, man. Until everybody realized that nothing would change. You're not an African American. That's like someone saying they're European American. How many white folks do you hear them saying they're European American? But yeah, we walk around calling ourselves African American. Africa, a continent within that holds within 30 or more countries. Which part of it do you come from?
The black people ain't Africans.
The black people out here is not from Africa.
They're not from Africa.
They
Black
from-
people is from Africa.
They from out here, right?
You guys are literally from out here. Africans don't even want to be funny with you guys. Like, that is the difference. Africans is totally separate.
Oh, where you from?
I'm from Liberia.
From Liberia. And you trying to tell these people that I'm trying to tell them that they're not African.
I'm not.
They are already. I don't know why they don't want to hear.
There was black people already here, bro.
Already here, but they want to say.
And it wasn't even Native American, bro. It was just dark.
Right.
Here.
They want to say that I think they love
And
slave boats, bro.
Realize is they migrated.
I think they love slave boats, bro.
Huh?
They love the slave boat. That's what it is. But tell them again, black people.
Y'all do love the slave boat, man.
Say it loud.
I like being slaves.
Black people is not from Africa.
Black people is not from Africa.
And anybody who said they're from Africa, bro, that's some dumb shit. 'Cause Africans don't even fuck with people from here, bro. So,
They gave us that name. And it's up to us to read and take ownership of what's really ours. Now just think, if you sitting here calling yourself African American, which you don't have dual citizenship to Africa, you have to get permission to come. You don't have dual citizenship. You're calling yourself an African American, so you're taking the ownership or your heritage away from this land in which we come from. We are Americans.
But I come out here to tell you about something I got.
Where are you from?
Clarksdale, Mississippi,
And what year were you born?
1916.
A lot of these kids are born in like 90s, 2000s, and they live in the city. So what is it like growing up in Clarksdale?
I grew up on a plantation. The name of the plantation was Kane and Anderson Plantation.
How many people were working on the plantation?
Oh my God. It's so many I can't even tell you.
Like 100? More.
More than 100. You know what a plantation is? It's like a city.
Oh wow. Do you consider yourself as an American?
Yeah, I am American.
You are American?
Yeah, I consider myself a colored person.
A colored person?
Yeah, a colored person, a colored human being.
Did they call everyone colored?
They called us colored people.
Okay. When did they switch over from colored people to black people?
Well, they just, to tell you the truth, they just started calling people black, I guess, because there was a lot of African people in the United States back in those days.
There was Africans, and then there was Americans?
Yeah.
And they spoke a different language?
Oh, yeah, because you couldn't understand the language.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Africans, and then there was Americans?
Yeah.
And they spoke a different language?
Oh, yeah, because you couldn't understand the language. No.
So on the plantation, you'd have Americans, and then you'd have Africans.
So if they got all the indigenous people in America believing that they come from Africa, what do they leave the Americas? Wide open for the people that came in to invade us to take over. It's the master plan.
When I started digging into the archives, that's when I realized the Indians in the area that were enslaved, they class as Negro people. So now let me let me share something else with you that you guys can do. There's something called the Slave Manifest. And the Slave Manifest are the ship records with slaves on them. Or I hate to say slave, enslaved people. But you will find that the color black didn't stuck, because we easily could have become called brown. I've seen hundreds of slaves classed as brown, gold, copper, black, pitch black, blue black, purple, almond, olive. By the way, olive is black if you look at it. Pure olive is dark. So you find these things in the Slave Manifest. But now there's different laws in the colonies governing African slaves and American slaves that are Indian but classed as Negro. Dig this. If a Native American slave ran away, they branded them on the left side of the cheek. Africans are different. Those omega signs on the shoulders and on the hips. I understand the frat brothers want to get down with that, but they better look at the origin of these things. So that's where you find a lot of the African slaves. Brand on the shoulders and the hip, but on the cheek are the Native American slaves. Well, you say, well, Langley, how is that? Because that's one of the colonial codes that George Washington passed down, that they practice on South Carolina plantations. Now, for most Southern people, always want to go to Oklahoma. I'm sorry. If you come up out of North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, you don't need to look for Oklahoma if you got any Indian ancestry. You need to look into the Seminoles, because the Seminoles fought a 50-year war, and the Seminoles, many of them, well, let me stop for a second. Seminoles are no more than Native American slaves that ran away from the British and other Native American tribes. And in the process of that, Africans and Asian Indians, because this is in the records, went with them off.
And it's crazy, man. It's crazy to me, because if anybody would actually take the time to actually look and see what the Indian of back then looked versus the ones of today, it would probably actually blow your mind. Like, just for example, like Pocahontas. You seen all the Disney images and the movies of how Pocahontas look, but if you actually seen what the depiction of Pocahontas' father is, the chief, you would think it's some dude from Harlem. You know, some dude from the block. This dude is one of the blackest dudes I ever seen. Like, not even just joking. Like, he's dark, and you would think that he's an African if you had westernized schooling like myself.
When I started going to New Orleans, like, you know, on tour and shit,
we tried.
The way they are with each other, they love each other a different way than everybody else.
It's Indian. It's Indian territory. It's tribes. Like, people be thinking Indians with the Pocahontas looking. That ain't how Indians look. They look like them people in New Orleans. Louisiana, all over Louisiana. Them Indians, tribes. Indigenous people. And when you take people that, you can say that, but when you take people in, man, we family.
So these images is actually hidden from us today. And it's up to us to do a little homework and try to break the code. Because that's all it is, break the code.
My life, I've always wanted to just wanted to host a show. I've been in the business so long, and I'm the only Indian in the business today.
How do you mean Indian?
The only Indian. The other one that you had out here, he's not in the business. He's a sun man.
With these tribes, many black people were entitled to some of these benefits. The government did not want blacks to get these benefits, so they created a separate freedmen's list specifically for black people. They also started to list any full-blooded Native American who had African features as black because they didn't want them getting those benefits either. At the same time, they allowed white citizens to come in and pay money under the table to be listed as part Native American.
1895 and 1896, when a lot of the whites found out the benefits that these blacks are going to be entitled to, a lot of whites went to the Dawes Commission and say, look, why don't you put my name on there? They said, but you're not an Indian. So that's the way. They said, well, I'll give you $5. So the rule got around, the policy got around that for $5 that a white could put his name on the Dawes rolls and be called himself an Indian and be entitled to all these benefits and all their children.
I just want to thank everyone for tuning in to today's episode. We've been here on a Big Flava channel today. Part 2 will be posted real soon. Podcast Brand New Flavor is coming out in January, so keep your eyes out. Be looking out for that. Thank you. Peace.